Hey, let me. We were talking about this yesterday, and I figured I'll start the show with it. So Brock Purdy's playing his first Super Bowl. Jake Moody's playing his first Super Bowl. What do you remember about your first Super Bowl, and how do you account for what happens in that first game? Like there's an unknown there. How do you deal with it?
It is, Siney, and it's interesting because you got to realize 4 years with the Saints, 1 with the Jets, Tampa Bay. You got to realize, and then going into Tennessee. So you got to realize, I'm talking about 7 years in my career is right done. And now I'm going to an opportunity to go play in Tennessee. We just opened up this stadium. No game has been played there. And we go undefeated that year at the Dolphins Stadium. So it was magic the whole year. But I'm telling you, the playoff games, okay, got in it. Okay, let's go. Playoffs, boom, boom. Then when we got to the Super Bowl, it's weird. Like you said, your emotions, you have to keep yourself in check because you're just thinking, Guru, it's like, think about it. When you're in Pee Wee, Pop Warner, all those years you're in sports, it's like, okay, and then you go to college. Okay, you want to play basketball. Yeah. And then after you get college, you maybe go to NBA. And then the NBA is like, okay, you're in the NBA. But you say, man, the goal is to play in the finals. The goal was to be in the Super Bowl. Since 5 years old, bro, since I've started playing football, I always thought about, God, can I be in a Super? You know, that's just every kid in the backyard. The Mecca. Man, you're playing in the Super Bowl. And then when it happened to me, Steiny, it was like, oh, my goodness. People are calling, you're in the Super Bowl. You're playing in the Super Bowl. All week long, the phone calls and the people. Right. And you're like, yeah. Damn, there's no next week.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So it's that. So how do you control it, Steiny? It's a great question. You control it, but you can't control it.
Right.
I don't care. Trent, best tackle in football. Don't think that this guy ain't up at night. Don't think that he's a Pro Bowl. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Don't think he's not thinking about it. They are thinking about this game, and even the guys that are playing in it, and that's why Kansas City, they say, oh, they've been here before. Let me tell you something. They are still it's a different feeling when you are playing in the granddaddy of them all.
That is crazy, and it goes back to yesterday's show because Stotty was saying, like there's no metric to tell who gets lemon booty or just being in the bowl is why you did what you did in regard to your performance, right? But this is going to sound crazy. Hearing you talk, Lo, it sounds like the easiest part of this week or these 2 weeks is when the ball is kicked off.
No question. No question. Great point, because you leading up, you're emotional. You can get emotionally drained because you're thinking about, God, when am I going to get here? God, when this game's going to get here? You have to just try to keep everything the same. I imagine guys went and watched movies. I imagine they're out there, hey, look, okay, Coach Shanahan said, hey, guys, after practice, you guys go to dinner. Bring your wives in. Try to make it as normal as you can.
Wow.
You have to try to, don't just sit in the room. A lot of guys, I got to sit in the room. I'm just going to get it X and O's. I'm going to watch it when the safety comes down and they're just like watching and just watching so much tape, overdoing it. You have to, yes, you have to be a little bit more detailed. Yes, you have to pay a little bit more attention. But at the same sense, you still have to stay on that course. Wow. You don't want to stay so emotionally involved that you forget that it's still a game.
Like the one thing I think about is, okay, so you got Kansas City. They've been to, this is their 4th Super Bowl with Mahomes, and Purdy's here for the first time. I got to believe, so you went through a Super Bowl week, and then you played the game. I got to believe you've thought since then, man, if I would have gone to another Super Bowl, I would have known what more to expect, and maybe you would have maybe you handled it differently the second time around. I mean, who gave you the blueprint for the week before the Super Bowl?
Well, I think that's one thing Kansas City has. They all have guys and coaches. Andy Reid's been in it when he was, with the other team. Yeah. With, Philadelphia. Got close. So guys are there that's going to tell guys what to expect. Guys are there saying, hey, look, let's get your tickets out of it. Hey, get your ticket list done. That's why you got 2 weeks. The first week, get all your ticket list done, get everything done, get all that out, get your hotels, understand what's going on, and just say, I'm leaving it alone. A lot of guys go dark. Don't say, you know what, I'm not going to have my phone. Go dark. 2 days before, Coach Shanahan's going to say, guys, unplug. I understand you need to call your mom. I understand you got to call your kids, do those things. But, man, let it alone. Tell your friends, hey, guess what? After the Super Bowl, man, let's party. You know what? We're going to hang out and do all this stuff. Right now, let it go. You have to narrow your circle. And today and tomorrow, yesterday was, Wednesday, Thursday. These are the hard days. These are those days where you're putting in run game, passing game, all the things that you're doing, physical practices. And then you're like, okay, unwind. Understand that. But then you understand when it get closer to game time, Saturday, Friday night, you just start to say, okay, I'm shrinking my circle. I'm not going to talk to them. I'm going to talk to less and less people because I know it's at stake.
You know what? Just driving in, Steiny, and I mean this, on the plane, seeing all the production, seeing hearing the buzz where we're at now. I've never been this close. I watched the NBA Final and covered it with Steiny, but you can smell the Super Bowl, the championship, what's at stake. You're a Hall of Famer in my book, and many. People can go to YouTube and look how much of a badass you are, and I mean what I'm about to ask you. Do you think, I don't want to use the word regret, do you think about how close you got to that ring?
Oh, without a doubt. And it's no disrespect, but it ain't you don't think that being here, I'm not thinking about wishing I could have been inside the Super Bowl. And like Steiny saying, what would you do different? And I'm like, man, and that's and it's crazy he asked that because I already think about what I would have did different, what I would have did different in the week leading up to it, how I would have been mentoring other guys, how I probably could have talked to guys, hey, man, hey, you don't use that exit, don't use that strategy, hey, don't do that. Or you seen a guy maybe you're having a couple too many. Instead of being like, hey, you know what, man? Hey, dude, after this game, we win this game, dude, me and you, we're going to go to Vegas, and we're going to get lit. And it's other things you could have done. But some guys, they're just like, okay, they're tense, and they're like, look, I got to get my advice. I need to go, and they maybe smoke too much, or they maybe drink too much. And instead of just being, I'm just going to take this moment in, they deal with it different. And so, like you said, Steiny, those are some of the things that I would have been different. I would have been a different type of leader. I could have went and talked to guys in a way not condescending, but hey, bro, man, let's go get a steak. Let's do something that would not take away from your athletic ability.
That's good.
So when you got to Tennessee, you got to the Super Bowl in Tennessee your first year in Tennessee.
Yes.
So you walked onto a team and you weren't going to be the leader right off the bat. You had to get a lay of the land. I got you. Let me ask you this. The 49ers are practicing this week, and we know they got field issues, and the Chiefs are practicing this week. How similar are practices this week to what they are in the regular season, or are they totally different?
Oh, they're the same but totally different. One is because you don't feel the pain. You know what I mean? You're at practice. You're running from drill to drill. And during the week, it's like, okay, here we go. Come on, you've been to practice. And Goo, you played base. Like, you're at practice. All right, here we go. Okay. And you just go, bam, you're going to practice, whether it's basketball, no other sport. And you're like, I got to get through this. It's practice. But you get your mindset. But now it's a Super Bowl. So you're like, think about you going to practice now, and you're like, okay, boom, I get down, I break out of the huddle. You're practice with more purpose, more intensity. It's just a little bit different.
Urgency.
You turn it up a little bit more, Steiny. You turn it up just a little bit more.
Man.
I'm turned right now.
Dude, you can tell it's affected Steiny, and I love it. Like, the enormity of this. And here we go, because this has been a theme the last 2 weeks, Lo. You tell me when you think this shift in sports or our society took place to where Brock Purdy could go out here, actually win this Super Bowl, be the quarterback. I don't know what his numbers are. Let's just say he gets that dub. But, Lo, now we're in a world where, let me get my computer. I got to add the fractions and carry the one on how much you meant to that win. When is it just about celebrating I'm a Super Bowl winning quarterback in year 2, and I might be back for the next 3 or 4? When did we start doing, is that gelling? What does that stem from?
Yeah, I think that people you got to realize people always got to believe they're right. We live in a world where it's like, okay, well he can't do this, well you can do this, and what it is just it's media. It's people just talking.
Ahead. We got the McAfee show right next to us. They need something to talk about.
Something to talk about. And it's like, what buttons do I push to get a reaction out of people? Instead of just saying, hey, you know what? Purdy's a good spiritual guy that has a good foundation, that's been raised well, that understands, hey, look, it's not about him. He understands that he likes to serve people. You watched him in college. He's just been a winner. Here's a guy that's just a winner. He doesn't care about all the other things around him. So it's like, I think that we're past that. I think that people still are going to always wonder, what could he have done? Well, Purdy's too short. Oh, Purdy can't do that. those are things that people
His
are always
arm's not
going.
that strong.
Yeah, but you can say that. I mean, people say Josh Allen. Josh Allen turns
Drew
over the ball too
Brees.
much. You know, Drew Brees' arms was not as strong. Josh Allen, is he ever going to win a Super Bowl? He's physical. He throws too many interceptions. I don't know about Josh Allen, but then Trevor Lawrence. So you're gonna have people are gonna always say something. The reason why it's so dominant with Purdy is because he was Mr. Irrelevant, and he's not supposed to be here because guess what? All the scouts, everyone
we had
missed.
that conversation.
A lot of people.
That's it.
But a lot of people. Here's the deal: if it didn't miss, but they didn't get to talk about him, so now you have an opportunity to talk about a guy that you missed on. So if you knew he was that great, now it's
oh man.
But I think people do. Now the part that I don't think upsets me, but the part that makes me say concerned, Steiny and Goo, is when everyone say, I want to now put this as Joe Montana. He's cool as Joe. What that does, now you set a bar, and it's not fair for
But
Purdy.
isn't it a compliment, though? Because we all should know.
It's a compliment.
Like my guy Danker always said he has Montana, like, traits. And I don't think he's saying he's good as Montana now, but, like, that's a compliment to Purdy, I believe.
I believe it, no question, it's a compliment. But when people start saying, oh, this guy, he's Joe Montana, or he's this, and what you do then.
Lo, The Rock is next to us. I'm still listening. Go ahead.
What you do next, and when you do that, now you set a precedent that it's like, oh my God, now everyone's like, they're going to pick holes in individuals because now you're trying to make someone perfect.
No doubt.
And that's what happens.
Politics and everything across the board, Steiny.
How many seasons did The Rock play in the NFL? 0.00. We got a 15-year vet here.
16.
The Rock. 16. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man.
I'm going to get that hip. I'm going to tap you in the hip.
Have you met The Rock before?
Of course.
Dude, this guy.
Taylor Swift.
I mean, here's the deal.
Yeah.
If I can get The Rock.
He got his cigar, too.
If I can get The Rock's attention. Man, look, I'm sitting in The Rock was like, hey, The Rock was
Ballers, I love that show.
No, The Rock was, hey, bro, true friend. I had The Rock swinging.
What you mean?
Swinging.
What do you mean?
Oh, hey.
Yeah, from me.
Oh.
I had him, you know what I'm talking about, Steiny. Hey, the people out there, they know what we're, they can do this. Okay, you got a little story, you want a little rock story?
Give me a rock story.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in Tennessee with the Titans. Kenny Holmes, defensive end.
Right.
Goes to Miami. Kenny Holmes and Dwayne are good friends. Dwayne comes to practice. He's working out. He wants to work out in our weight room and hang out with us because, like, I brought guys, my friends, Matt Mahoney, Chris Tobert, my different guys from Lemoore. They come to visit me when I'm playing in pros.
And you take them in?
And I took them in the strength coach, and they get to work out. Then, you get to hang out. They're like, man, I get to work out. And then if they take pictures, I let them see the head coach. The Rock was doing that with Kenny because Kenny was his friend. So Dwayne came to Tennessee Titans. Hey, Eddie Lorenzo, man, he's talking about he's out at practice, just chill. He was just Dwayne.
Oh,
he was just Dwayne.
Okay.
Easy, son. You're just a Cub, and now you want to run the Pride? So he was just like sitting in the locker room, hanging out with us and talking. Man, this is awesome. Tim, you like this story? So Dwayne now is the guy.
Yeah,
but if you say, Dwayne, Neal. He knows.
I knew you when you were a Cub.
You like that story. You didn't know that.
Well, you know what I was just thinking is, did you must have flirted with, like, WWE after your career. I mean, you were a great wrestler. Those guys are athletic. You could have done that.
I could have done that.
While
I was playing, I could have done it. I couldn't do it when I'm tired at 39, 38, 39. The bones ain't gonna, I was getting out the field.
I go back to, you probably don't even know, the big cat, Ernie Ladd. Ernie Ladd, former Kansas City Chief. He became a professional wrestler.
Yeah, a lot of them did.
Yeah.
The Junkyard Dog, I loved him back in the day. I used to love watching a little WWE and WWF.
Loved it.
Oh, yeah.
Great stuff.
There's been a lot of guys, the center, I forget his name, from the Steelers, he didn't even play football, and they signed him.
Oh, yeah.
I know. And he didn't even play football. He wrestled in college. They signed him at the NCAA tournament just because he was a heavyweight wrestler and won the national title. So, yeah.
Let me throw this at you about Kyle Shanahan, because Steiny and I look at sports, and it's not a bad thing, Lo. We're different people. We look at everything different.
Sure.
If somehow they don't get this done, forget all the other players, forget Wilkes. We're just having a conversation about Kyle. Lo, I'm looking at you right now in your beautiful beanie. I know he's a great coach, but is anything on your metric in regard to Kyle going to change and say, oh, another one? You got close, you didn't get it done? or is he just bulletproof? Like nothing's going to change. I feel like you lose something as you get closer and closer, like Andy Reid in Philly. So I'm hoping Kyle gets this because it's the only box I believe he has left to check. But if somehow he loses again, Lo, and Mahomes is not going to retire soon, we can't sit here and be like, oh, they're going to get it next year if this kid's in your way and beat you for another time in Mahomes.
Yeah, I think that you got to look at it several ways. One is you look at it and say, okay, has he ever won one with his dad? They won Super Bowls in Denver. I don't know, how much of a part that he played in that. But you say, okay, what's my alternative? Do you go get Belichick?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not sitting right. There's none of that on the table.
I think that you make different changes. I think that right now the elephant in the room right now is defense. I think that Wilkes. I mean, you start off that you loved him, and now all of a sudden you don't. So it's interesting. That's going to be interesting. Win, lose, or draw. I don't know if he'll be back. I don't know if he'll be back because as a coach and as a coach that should have been the head coach in Carolina, that rightfully should have stayed the coach and he can go get a job. He won't be on the streets. He's gonna be a good defense. We know he's a proven defensive coordinator. So I don't know if he's going to come back. Just whether Kyle wants him back or not, he's going to have options. So we can start there. That's one. Two, it's like, okay, when you're talking about Kyle Shanahan, you're saying, okay, how do you now? Would it be another tarnish on his name? Yeah. Okay. But I don't think it's like, oh, we got to fire this guy.
Yeah, no,
you got to
advocate that.
Right. And you're going to say, God, he played against arguably, okay, it goes maybe Joe or Tom, we don't know, Joe or Tom Brady. And then if they said, is it who's next? And then if they said, well, if you were to project and say 5-10 years from now, if Mahomes stays on this course, now is it going to be Brady, Mahomes, Joe? So you're playing against the guy that people are saying right now is
Michael
legend.
Jordan.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
So it's hard to just say what's up for Cal in that sense when you're playing
pass,
against.
but it's almost a pass, Donnie, because it could be Jordan, like to Patrick Ewing and Carl Ball, all the dudes that did win in his era.
Right.
I mean, the thing I always come back to with Kyle, he's still only 44 years old, which is not very old for a head coach. Matt Steinmetz, Darryl the Guru Johnson from Vegas with Lorenzo Neal, 16-year NFL player. He played the fullback position as well as anybody out there. We got a great show lined up. We got Neil Smith at 10:45. Former Kansas City Chief defensive lineman. We got Ricky Williams and Kyle Turley coming up. Ross Tucker, our good friend's gonna stop by. Jim McMahon.
Jim
McMahon.
BYU.
He was still part of my.
You gonna land to him? You gonna land to Jimmy?
No, you know him?
Pennsylvania.
You know all these guys, right?
I was just playing his celebrity. He's Wounded Warriors. He always has come out. He has celebrity flag football game.
The man.
Jimmy, I love that. Mac. It's chewing his tobacco and had his big,
Jimmy McMahon.
had his shades on. Jimmy was tough.
He was, but you know what?
You had to be in that era.
If he quarterback today, they might call him a game manager. That defense and that.
He'd be game manager.
I wonder if he would take that as an insult.
I don't know if he will.
That's a great question, Sonny.
I don't know if he will. I think he's like, I was definitely game. And he knew. He said, I don't have to be crazy to do a bunch of stuff. Maybe manage the game to win games.
Hey, Circa here in Vegas is going to be throwing a party it's going to start at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. We're going to go to Circa, Guru, myself, Evan,
I'm pulling up, baby.
Lo may be there.
I'm coming.
So if you're going to be in Vegas tonight, we want to see you for free entry and a free drink. Show up in some red and gold. Also, RSVP now at circa.com and go to the Stadium Swim tab and click on Huddle Up at Stadium Swim. Matt Steinmetz along with Darryl the Guru Johnson, Lorenzo Neal.